Metairie Cemetery started out as a horse racing track in 1838. After it went bankrupt, it was used in the American Civil War as a Confederate camp. Metairie Cemetery saw its beginning in 1872 by a man that made a promise to save the racetrack by turning it into a graveyard. The Metairie Cemetery is loaded with lots of amazing graves. There are many famous people buried here, such as Jefferson Davis, Prima, Tom Benson, and so on. The famous people and the many styles of tombs makes this place one of the most interesting cemeteries in Louisiana that I have visited.
Right next to this Metairie sign, the cemetery, is this massive ant pile. This is pretty wild. You're able to go straight through all of this. Look at the talent that was put into this. The hammer and the chisel. Same with this statue as well. This person really has talent. But that's the family name. Lots of people are buried here, family-wise. Earliest date I see is 1886, and the latest date I see is 1997. The cemetery's not completed without this big old oak trees. These trees definitely date back to the early or late 1800s. Maybe back further. Let's go walk up the steps and take a look at the steps. These are massive. It's a beautiful iron door right there with the lady on it. You don't see stuff like this anymore. See the markings on her tomb? Like I said, they don't make tombs like this anymore. And I hear my echo while I talk. While I'm talking, I hear an echo. This column actually reminds me of the one from Natchez, that big old house I explored, the Natchez Plantation. Little stepping stones. There are some graves that are open, there's some that aren't. But inside, left, and on the right, people are buried in here. And if you don't know why people are buried above ground, as you can tell by what you're looking at, I am currently in Metairie, minutes from New Orleans. This area is below sea level, so they have to bury the dead above surface. But that's what it looks like inside most of them. They usually have 3 on each side, which is total 6 people, family. Or they have like a little tomb that you're looking at. Like all these little tombs, they have either 1, 2, 3, or ever how many bodies inside them. They're usually smaller amounts. Somebody put a Christmas decoration tree up for them, letting them know it's Christmas time. Pretty crazy tomb. You actually have to have some money to be buried here, because this is not a cheap cemetery. This is on top of the lines of the most fanciest cemetery in all of New Orleans / Metairie. Look at the floor. And that's where loved ones are buried at. It says truth, love, spirit, soul, life, mind. A golden acorn. And just right next door to that tomb you just saw, look at this one. This one's well kept up. It's a garden all around his tomb. It smells good too. Even got a bench you can sit down on. Interesting door handles. There is a lagoon that goes right down the middle of this section of the cemetery. Saint Michael. That's what it says at the bottom. Wow, this is very cool right here. Finally found some names. William Henry Shane Sr. died November 22nd, 1912. Oh no, he was born that day and he died January 1st, 2006. And Selena Michael Shane was born May 9th, 1917, died August 5th, 2003. That's the only 2 names that I'm seeing in this whole entire plot. Look to my right. Wow. That's a pretty thick door. I wonder if you can open it. Probably not, but nope, that one's locked. I got a skylight up there. So I'm currently here filming and there's a whole bunch of crows above me. I don't know what the heck is going on, but that's kind of scary. I hope I'm not food. Or maybe there is something that's dead that is food. I have to keep an eye on that. It's kind of scary. Look at that beautiful stained glass. Oh, there's a chair. Hey little buddies, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Pretty crazy how this tree is actually in the middle of the sidewalk where people would walk. I mean, you still could walk there, but that's crazy. Guy named Larry here was born April 19, 1926. He died June 1st, 2012. Beloved husband, father, and grandfather. I like his tomb. There's another tombstone that's like a book shape that you just saw over there. This one is Janet. He was born April 10th, 44. Wow. He died February 18th, 2013. Your body may be gone, but your spirit lives on, as does your love for you. So this cemetery offers different type of burial. Like I said, they bury above the ground here in Metairie / New Orleans because it's like very, very close. Anyways, they have this option too, where you can pretty much be buried in the ground. Like I said, we are below sea level, but people have different options of the way they like to be buried. So this is another section that you mostly see up north, around the world in general, honestly. I found that vase laying down and those flowers right there. I decided to put them in that little vase for this little plot. Here's a tomb that needs to be mentioned. This guy was born in Natchez, Mississippi, and he died in New Orleans, LA on November 5th, 1948. Oh, 2 people were actually born in Natchez, Mississippi, and 2 people died in New Orleans. The first one died, like I said, in 1948, November 5th, and the second one died September 15, 1965. That is unique. I have been to Natchez and I've been to New Orleans, and we're obviously in New Orleans. Like I said, that had to be mentioned. I'm glad people are actually throwing away trash and whatnot. It makes the cemetery look a lot nicer and more enjoyable to roam around. Now here's a mausoleum. Like I've mentioned, people are buried all different types, all different ways. Let's see what we see. Oh, they got a whole bunch of flowers here. I see an American flag, a chicken, and a vase that has fallen over. Let's fix this for them. There's another one down here that has fallen over. Let's fix this one as well. These are obviously not my loved ones, but I thought it'd be nice to at least fix it up for them. There's a little curtain over that one. I think that means someone recently has passed away and they're getting ready to put the seal on. I could be wrong, but I know it means something. See all the gifts that are left behind? Those are good family members. If you look to the right, I think that's where that big stone is going to be placed up there. There's a check mark on it too, if you didn't notice. A guy named James has this plot right here for December the 7th, 2020. That's this year. So he's gonna be, looks like he's gonna be put inside to this right here. Or maybe he's already there and they're just getting ready to get the headstone in. Somebody, it looks like, had a birthday. Happy birthday. Abraham Mayer, 1842 to 1907. Rebecca Frank Mayer, 1852, 1907. I wonder what month and day they died on. And yes, that's actually how they're buried. They're buried in that big old tomb that you're looking at right there. It looks like a casket. If anybody knows what these two yellow flags mean on each side, let me know in the comments below, because it's the first time I've seen something like this. There's a brand new tomb, all painted too. I see a ladder to the left. Actually, I see two ladders. A ladder on both sides. A ladder there. A ladder there. Some paint buckets in the back as well. This tomb is starting to crack. If you can see it, it's gonna need to be redone very soon.
The tomb is in shape of a pyramid that represents eternity. The Sphinx was used to symbolize protection, mystery, power, and wisdom. The statue on the left wears an Egyptian symbol of the sun on their head while pointing to the family's tomb, and with the other hand, she's pointing over to the urn. And this right here are family members that are buried inside of this tomb. He had multiple children, he had multiple wives.
I see 1800s, 1886, 1884, something on the lines of that. 1857. That thing, it looks like it's looking right at me. It's cracked. Pretty scary. It feels like it actually could come alive. Look at those paws. Same thing with this statue. It also looks like it's looking at you. And his hand is currently pointing upwards. And the name is currently up there where he's pointing with his hand. His hand is currently touching the urn. Whoever came up with this statue design, you did a really good job. Please do not touch the statues, they are fragile. Thank you. And I think this is the most unique grave in the whole entire cemetery. Don't get me wrong, there's obviously a whole bunch more, but I think this is the one that sticks out the most, that people like to see, take pictures and all that stuff. I think his tomb is pretty much boarded up. It's so weird that you can walk through this guy's tomb. Here's the back side. That's the front we were just at. Looking out all at these tombs. Louisiana Heritage Trail. So this is where Jefferson Davis is buried at, right inside here. I don't think we're going to be able to get inside, but years ago they had it open to the public where you could actually go in to see the soldiers and all that and whatnot. And Jefferson Davis is currently buried right there. Jefferson Davis was born June 3rd, 1808. He died December 6th, 1869. And this is where all his soldiers are buried at. And there's a couple of names that are pretty much buried in here. And on both sides. Like I said, it used to be open to the public, but not anymore. Someone apparently has it gated off so you can't get in there. We can actually walk up on top of the spot where he's buried at. He's buried underneath all this with his soldiers. That's where one of the vent is that you could actually see underneath. Louisiana Army of Northern Virginia, Louisiana Division. And there's the soldier. General John Bell Hood, CSA. Apparently this is actually an important person. And he's buried right here.
The Egan tomb was built in the late 1800s. Often referred as the ruined castle, its design is taken from a little chapel on the family's estate in Ireland that has been burned down, vandalized, and lay in ruins. It contains the remains of 2 young Egan men who died in the Civil War.
Correct the roads at a cemetery. You think you've seen all the really cool graves in this location that I'm in. That is a huge cross. That goes way up there. Stanley W. Ray Jr. was born September 9, 1915, died in November 19, 1970. Dorothy here was born October 22nd, 1923 and died September 8, 2016. Coming up to this tombstone, you can see some really pretty stained glass. Whoa, this door's actually open. Look at that blue stained glass. So like I said earlier, this is what it looks like inside the tombs where they're currently buried at, I should say. This one has 4 people buried on this side. And 4 more buried. And 4 more buried on this side. I still can't get over that stained glass. I think this American flag is broken. You're not supposed to let it touch the ground, but it looks like it has. So we can dig it deeper in there. It's just not staying. Up above us is a soldier on his horse pointing this direction. Army of Tennessee, Louisiana Division, CSA 1861-1865. So this is also another section where some of the soldiers are actually currently buried at. This is another section. You saw the one where Jefferson Davis was pretty much buried at with his soldiers. This is also the other section of the soldiers that are buried here.
The grave of Tom Benson. He was born July 12, 1927 in New Orleans, Louisiana, and he died March 15, 2018 at Ochsner Medical Center at the age of 90 years old. He was the owner of the New Orleans Saints of the National Football League from 1985 to 2018, and the New Orleans Pelicans of the National Basketball Association from 2012 to 2018.
You can't really see inside, but there's a little bench, some belongings that belong to this guy. And look at that stained glass in the background, that's beautiful. They did a good job with the rows and the way that the door is designed. So with this grave, I was actually hoping to be able to get inside, but apparently you can't. Inside is a weeping angel statue that's very, very beautiful. Look how beautiful that angel is. I was really hoping to actually get inside here. I really wanted to get inside. Let's see what I mean. It's locked up, you're not getting in. You're gonna see these really big monuments in New Orleans. You can see the designs in there. Those look really nice. It's not every day you see a big old buffalo at a cemetery. To think you've seen it all. There's a little church here with some graves inside. It's at the very front of this cemetery. I want to check this out. Whoa. There's gates. I wish they would bring stuff back like this. And there's not many people buried here. Luther Franklin Roger Jr. He was born December 18, 1932. He died November 24th, 2016. Beloved husband, father, and grandfather. George Wilson, January 19, 1960, December, all the way to December 15, 2007. Look at checker floor. That's crazy nice. Look at the size of his hands.
I've never been inside a mausoleum like this. It's so crazy. Those are people's tombs right there that are actually buried right there. There's urns way over there too. Wow. (2016, 2006, 1606). This is the most peaceful mausoleum I have ever been in. More urns.